Hello everyone, Space Oyster here, and welcome back to Fire Emblem Three Houses, the Ashen Blue Lion Wolves edition. In the last part, we explored the monastery in preparation for our mission, Mutiny in the Mist. While I was doing or getting ready for the thingamajig, a lot of my characters hit level 10, so they're ready to do promotions into the intermediate classes. So I got a few of them promoted that I could. So, for example, I turned Boyleth into a thief. Dedu is a brigand. There he is. He looks very pretty. And then, let's see, Mercedes got turned into a priest. Annette is a mage. Ingrid is flying, finally. Yuri's a priest as well, so I can keep him on healing duty. Barthas is a brigand, because brigands have good abilities. And then Happy and Constance are both mages. This is a very magic-heavy party. Fortunately, though, this is also a very player phase-dependent game, so we can make the most out of it. Oh crap, it's a good thing I didn't need to re-record this part again. Oh wait, I remember why I saved there. I don't know. You know what? I don't know what I'm thinking. My mind isn't working.
It's a real honor to accompany such a brave and distinguished knight. None other than Catherine, wielder of Thunderbrand.
Thunderbrand?
You mean you don't know? My weapon is called Thunderbrand. It's one of the hero's relics. A long time ago, the goddess bestowed divine weapons upon 10 heroes, which were passed down to their descendants. It's an honor to wield, but I'm afraid there won't be any chance for that today. Our mission is to help clean up the aftermath, not to fight.
Why would Lenato incite such a reckless rebellion?
You should know more about that than any of us, Ash.
Well, I don't. Lenato never mentioned anything of the like to me.
He probably didn't want you getting caught up in his own personal vendetta.
What vendetta?
How much do you know about the tragedy of Dusker, Professor?
Oh, I've heard of it. You don't need to go into detail.
It's when the king of the Holy Kingdom of Fargus was murdered by the people of Dusker. It happened about 4 years ago.
Oh, you're telling me anyway.
Okay, Catherine. Please, go on.
Right. Well, Lord Lenato's son, Kristoff, was accused of being involved in that whole awful affair. He was executed by the church.
Why was the king targeted? ...
King Lambert was attempting a major political reform. Needless to say, he had many enemies. Whatever the truth behind that incident may be, Lord Lenato has harbored resentment toward the church ever since. Well, to be more specific, his grudge isn't only against the church. It's also against the one who turned Kristoff over to them.
Report! The enemy is approaching. They can't be avoided. Their numbers are far greater than we predicted. They used the fog to slip past the Knight's perimeter.
It looks like our mission just changed, Professor. Everyone, prepare for battle!
Okay, then. Oh, right, I remember. I tried to record this one, I tried to do a recording of this one, but my, capture card was acting up, so I, dumped it and redid it. So, what's going to happen here is I'm going to reload the save I did once my, preparations were complete, and I'll see you back here when that is done. Alright, we are back. So, I've got all my preparations taken care of. I just need to make a few adjustments. Since Dimitri wasn't able to promote despite being level 11, I'm going to try and put him into a position where it's easier for him to get some more weapon EXPs and promote.
With this fog, it's impossible to tell where the enemy might be, or how many of them there are. The enemy could be trying to surround us, but they shouldn't have enough soldiers to form a tight circle. Take down anyone who breaks through the fog, and let's push through!
Shouting from within the fog. It seems the knights are already battling.
Okay, then.
Proceed with caution. Wait for them to enter your field of view.
Yeah, this teaches you about low visibility maps. So basically, we're not going to be able to see where all the enemies are at first. We have to wait for them to, well, like she said, enter our field of view. She told us to be cautious, but you know, I'm a wild child, so I'm going to stride here. Although I picked a bad person to use with Happy. And then we're going to run ahead and use some torches to light the area up. Yeah, I bought these on the preparation screen. Everyone's got a torch. You get a torch, and you get a torch. And you use a torch. Yeah, you want to be a bit careful. Well, I want to be a bit careful because I've got Ingrid as a Pegasus Knight, so she'll take extra damage from arrows. Although I am also pretty over-leveled at this point. With the DLC, they added in some new, what's the right word? They added in new,
Sure thing.
skirmish chapter thingies, so that way your characters, well, when you choose battle in the monastery, they added new maps that you can do that give better rewards and have a higher difficulty. And it's nice in a way that that's an option, but it's also really pretty bad because it's terribly easy to get overpowered, especially on New Game Plus, since you have a lot more free time to work with than before. Like, to put it into perspective, at launch, when I did this map, none of my characters were level 10 yet, and I couldn't get any of them to an intermediate class at the time. And so not being able to put people into an intermediate class for this one made it a bit more difficult than what I'm going to be showing here, because I simply can overpower these people with stronger units. Each class has higher bases, each class has their own bases and such. So the intermediate classes have better bases than the beginner classes.
We're just gonna do nothing while you try to kill our lord?
Why, Lenato? Why did you drag so many others into this?
And so immediately changing your character into a new class gives them a bit of a power boost, more or less. I guess you could sort of think of it, well, it works closer to the class-changing system in Awakening and Fates, where the character stats would change to match the bases, or would change based on the bases of their new class. I guess that was true in Shadow Dragon as well. But yeah, Dedue's defense is pretty too high. Maybe I should have played on Maddening since I did those maps. It might make Maddening a lot easier to handle. I'm not too sure, though. You'd have to ask someone more experienced than me. I should definitely give Maddening a shot one of these days. I keep flip-flopping back and forth, but I think I'm going to be in the crowd of, yeah, let's do Maddening. Why didn't I use a torch with Happy? She would have been happy to. Good job, Constance. Good job. Alright, here. Well, at least I remembered to use one on Annette. And let's see, Yuri Bird is extremely really fast, so he's gonna cut this guy down. Oh, right, and I learned some things off screen that makes some of the stuff I said before stupid. I called Felix one of the easier students to recruit, and that's not actually true. He's
anywhere near Lord Lenato.
Felix is actually one of the toughest because he has such a high requirement to recruit with B swords and 25 speed. So even though that's something you're naturally going to use, he's actually a tough recruit regardless. Yeah, I've been spending more time talking about the fire emblems and realizing I'm an idiot in some places. So there's that.
Thank you.
But regardless, I would highly recommend recruiting Felix anyway, because he's just that good. He is really just that good. Alright, let's go ahead and move Balthus up. And... oh, he can rally strength. I always forget Balthus can rally strength too. Let's see... and I'll use that bow. Thank you, Mercedes. Trade strats for the win.
It's you. Thunderstrike Cassandra. It was your wretched zealotry that killed my son!
The only name I answer to is Catherine. Prepare to taste the blade of one who serves the goddess. Now you face a Knight of Theros!
Ooh, flashy.
The fog is cleared. There's nothing left to hide you or the filthy Central Church from the judgment of the goddess.
Okay, so now we don't have to worry about the fog anymore. I might have been a bit too over-prepared. Oh, and one thing I realized, right. Oh, crap. That was an archer. Why didn't he do that much damage to Ingrid? That's odd. Anyway, one thing I just realized, actually, is that they play the theme, they play a theme that plays when you recruit a new student. They use that for a lot more than I thought they did. I used it for the background for when I was talking about characters, because I thought, hey, this probably doesn't get played all that much. But no, they had to prove me wrong and play it all the time. Such inconsiderate poopy doodles. No! His iron gauntlets broke. That's not good. Alright. Well then, we're gonna have to work around that. Let's trade him his new iron gauntlets, so that way he's not running around with a broken weapon. And take this guy down. Yeah, trading is seriously broken. If you're having trouble with Fire Emblem, try trading, doing trades around like that. It will help you out immensely. Okay, that archer, I know the last one didn't do that much damage to Ingrid, and I don't know why, so I may as well just, try and keep Ingrid out of his rage. Yeah, one pitfall I always seem to fall into with these,
Lenato, please don't die. I am sorry. But did you really think you would get away with this?
Yes, they did. Anyway, one pitfall I seem to fall into with Three Houses in particular over other Fire Emblems is that, it's specific to Three Houses, so I guess that's a thing. Is that I only like to really use weapons on characters based on what class I want to make them into or what class they currently are. Even though you can make any character into any class and still use their preferred weapons. Case in point, even though Dedue and Balthus are both brigands.
Doesn't deserve such sadness and anger. Now it's your turn to suffer.
If you say so. But both of them are brigands, so they get extra weapon experience if they use an axe. But I'm having them stick to brawling since, this is hard mode and they're dealing enough damage with a one-night weapon that doubles. Or, quadruples in this case. Same with Catherine's weapon, but she is broken for this one. So yeah. Yeah, but with Three Houses, you don't actually have to do that. You can use whatever weapon you want on anyone, as long as they're proficient in it. Which is actually something I'm going to do with Dimitri a bit later. Spoilers, I suppose. Dimitri's going to be picking up lances again. I wanted him to become proficient with them since he gets his own, not personal, but he does get a relic lance. There are a lot of relic lances for the blue lions. Just realized that. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and move on. Flying units like Ingrid make everything better. Although, I didn't do a good job of preparing for this as I thought, because I think most of her gear is pretty much broken at this point.
Amazing.
Part of why I like the magic classes a bit more than the not magic classes is that the mage weapons just regenerate, I guess is the right word. So the mages will be able to fight well again for the next chapter, even if they run out of uses for their spells on the one before. Always handy, and you don't have to worry about repairing their weapons over and over again. Although, Boyleth isn't doing as much damage as I thought he would. He must have gotten strength screwed. It happens, but that's a-okay. I kind of like working around stuff like that. Alrighty. Oh, right, and I keep forgetting to talk about it, but the chapter, or the start of the chapter mentioned that you get a bonus if you keep all of Catherine and her allies alive, and that is no exaggeration. You definitely want to keep them either healthy or out of the combat, whichever you prefer. Yeah, and this part tends to get really tricky. I'm gonna go ahead and equip Dedue with his axe. It might not be as good for him as it would be for to use the fist, since the axe is a lot heavier, so he's gonna get weighed down. But he's not going to be able to counterattack, since they're probably going to use gambits on him, and if he does counterattack, he's probably only going to hit once. So, yeah, better to go with the axe anyway. Speaking of, I should probably give Ingrid an axe so I can train her axe rank better. She will need it to promote into a wyvern rider, which is the next step in the flying tree.
Try to keep up.
Good job, Dedue. I can't see it very well, but I think that had a high hit rate, and he dodged it anyway because he is best waifu. Alrighty, let's keep moving happy forward. I do kind of regret giving her stride, but I gave it to her right away because she's the only one I've got going into a mounted class. Well, she's going to be the first one to get to one. There are other strides that you can get with a flying unit, or use with a flying unit, so I guess I could put that on Ingrid as soon as I get it, although it'd be a waste of her skill. But I always find stride is best to put on a cavalier, and that's why I like to always train at least one student as a cavalier. Well, the reason being is that they can do stride at the start like I did, or later on if you need it. And then, since they have Canto, they can just keep moving. Very handy. Very, very handy. And we're nearing the end here, so that leads me to another thing I could talk about. And that's, let's see. Oh yeah, right. So with the boss characters like Lonato, if a green unit attacks them and would kill them, I think they usually leave them at 1 HP. That is something I read somewhere, and I did see it happen once when I did the paralogue and Geralt attacked the boss there, Costas, and he left them at 1 HP. So I think the way it's supposed to work is that if Catherine and her Goonies get to Lonato and they would take him out because she is broken as all get out, then she would leave them with 1 HP so you can get the experience. Not 100% sure though, that might have just been a safety net they did for the prologue, and then they take it off since. So maybe that's not actually a thing, and people just saw it that one time there and thought, oh, that's a thing. Alright. Oh yeah, and since Dimitri mastered Soldier, he gets reposition, which allows him to move one character to his other side. Very handy to use. It's listed as a combat art though, so it can be tricky to find the room to equip it, but the movement-based skills of the beginner classes are handy in situations. I would recommend picking them up as soon as possible, so that way you can take advantage of those. Oh no, I didn't actually move here. I moved Balthus too far. And I forgot to bring Ash. Maybe I should have actually deployed him instead of just as an adjutant. Excuse me, I'm very yawny this morning. But yeah, it would have been nice to have him take on Lonato himself. Well, not nice, because that's his adoptive daddy, and it breaks him up that he has to fight his adoptive daddy, but you know what I mean. It would have been more story relevant. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and put... yeah, just like that. And then... You know, I kinda want him to equip that javelin, so let us... Wait, why not just attack? Why didn't I attack? No! Fast-spaced oyster, what were you thinking? Just attack anyway. He couldn't counter, so it's not like it would be bad. Wait, why do I want him to have the javelin?
Deceived by that witch. I will show you the truth. Weak.
Haha, do is amazing. Yeah, you have to be careful when you use stride when there are green units, because they can be affected by it. And in the case of Catherine and her little goonies, if you stride one of them, they will try and charge to any enemy they can reach. Yeah, let's just do it. Go, Constance.
That vile woman. Christoph, forgive me.
Lenato,
I never thought I'd see Lenato meet this fate. Well done, everyone. Let's gather our troops and go.
Yay! And since no one died, we get the best rewards, including these stat boosters that I can't quite make out. And the MVP is Constance. Wait, really? Yeah, I don't know how the game determines MVP. Let's save over that one, and there we go.
Why did this happen? Lenato was always such a kind man. Everyone in the village was so nice to me, and I killed them. I killed them all. I had to. I know I had to. I know that, but still, what does that make me?
Please, don't beat yourself up, Ash. We did what had to be done.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't be bothering you. I'm going to check on the town. I hope my brother and sister are okay.
That was my first time killing civilians too. Those who I'm sworn to protect.
I guess it was a necessary sacrifice. I don't remember what I picked. Oh,
You
Reality War.
insane? Those weren't knights or soldiers, but fathers and sons. We shouldn't have killed them. We should have found another way. I'm sorry. It's not fair for me to blame you for the circumstance. I know that if we hadn't done what we did, even more civilian lives would have been lost. At least my mind understands that, but my heart... Professor, those in power, no matter the era, always claim they fight for a just cause, that they take life to protect it. But is it truly okay to take any life you please, all in service of some implacable just cause? Lord Lenato didn't take up arms out of a lust for power. He simply believed his cause to be just. Who's to say it wasn't? Maybe we didn't have to cut him down like that. Maybe we could have reached a mutual understanding, found a path of peace. I have to believe that. Perhaps the notion sounds laughable to you. Mere lip service to naive ideals. But I can't believe otherwise.
Sorry to intrude, but this incident may be more serious than anticipated. I found this on Lord Lenato. It's a note that mentions a plan to assassinate Lady Rhea. We can't tell who sent it, so the source is suspect, but the content is too disturbing to ignore. We must report this to Lady Rhea right away. I hope that it's nothing.
I am glad to see that you have returned safely. The goddess is gracious with her divine protection. But it was not only her divine protection that shielded you, was it? You are just as skilled as I had hoped.
Let's see, I still have much to learn.
There is no need for modesty. I heard some of the students were hesitant about fighting militia. However, we must punish any sinner who may inflict harm upon believers, even if those sinners are civilians. I pray the students learned a valuable lesson about the fate that awaits all who are foolish enough to point their blades towards the heavens.
Our real concern is what Catherine reported. The secret message that was in Lord Lenato's possession. It contained a deplorable plot to target the Archbishop on the day of the goddess's rite of rebirth. The plan seems unrealistic at best, but a threat is a threat. We must maintain constant vigilance. To that end, I would like for you and your students to help with security on the day of the ritual.
Let's see, we won't let her down. Oh, wait, no, won't that be dangerous?
Even if they encounter an enemy whom they cannot best, they should be fine, so long as they have you on their side.
The rite of rebirth is of paramount importance. It is when the Church of Seros and its believers unite to pray for the return of the goddess. The Archbishop and I will be confined to the Goddess Tower once the ritual begins. Of course, the Knights will be on high alert as well, but there aren't enough of them to keep watch on every corner of the monastery. It is far from ideal to be forced to mobilize students, but the gravity of this situation requires that we all bend to avoid breaking.
While there is no need to fear for my safety, we cannot turn a blind eye to those who would blaspheme so heinously.
With any luck, this will all be for naught. Still, be on your guard.
Okay then. Well, I'll go ahead and call that an episode here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.